All right, so you finished your book, and now you want to get it out to the whole world.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about today, selling books internationally on Amazon.
Right?
Like, not just to a few more readers, but getting it out there everywhere globally. And we've got this guide called How to Sell Books in International Markets on Amazon.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing actually.
Yeah.
You can just click a button in your Amazon KDP account
Oh,
and
really?
you can enable worldwide distribution.
Wow.
And boom, you've got your book available across the whole globe.
Ah,
But as with anything,
right.
there's more to it than just clicking that button.
I imagine it's like planting a seed, and
Exactly.
it needs the right environment to really grow and flourish.
One of the things you got to make sure of is that your payment setup is able to handle all the different currencies.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
You don't want any issues when you're trying to get those international royalties.
Right.
You want to celebrate your success and not get bogged down by, logistical headaches.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And that brings us to the big question. Where in the world are all these readers who are looking for a book just like yours?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, where are they? I feel like it's a big treasure hunt to figure out where a book is going to do the best.
Yeah.
What's some ways to find those readers?
Well, one of the things to remember is that global appeal is different for every genre.
Oh, okay.
So, like, self-help books might be really popular in the US and the UK,
Yeah,
but historical fiction is really big in Europe.
interesting.
And over in Southeast Asia, everybody loves practical guides.
Okay,
So the first thing is knowing what the global market is like for your genre.
that makes sense. So you kind of have to know your audience on a global scale.
Yeah.
But how do you find those readers who are specifically interested in your book?
Well, believe it or not, one of the best ways is to look at Amazon's bestseller lists.
Oh, eh?
Each region has its own bestseller list, and you can look at those lists
Uh-huh.
and you can see what's popular in each market.
Oh, that's smart. Like getting a sneak peek into what people are reading in different parts of the world.
Exactly.
So you find your markets, but not everybody speaks the same language.
Right.
So how do you overcome that language barrier?
Well, this is where you have to start thinking about localization.
Yep.
That's really important. And it's not just translating your book description.
Okay.
It's about making sure that every part of your book is presented in a way that makes sense for each market.
I like that it's like you're dressing your book up
Yeah.
to go visit these different cultures.
And the most obvious thing, of course, is to translate the book description. But you don't want to just rely on those automated translator tools.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They can be good for getting a quick overview, but they often miss those subtle things, the nuances
Yeah.
and the cultural sensitivity
Right.
that you need to really capture your book's essence. So what you want to do is hire a professional translator,
Okay.
someone who understands your target language, and they can make a big difference.
Yeah, because you want to intrigue readers,
Right.
not leave them confused.
Exactly. A good translator can bridge cultures.
Yeah.
For example, in German, self-help is Selbsthilfe.
Oh, wow.
It's a small change, but it shows that you understand your target audience.
So you're speaking their language.
Yeah, you're speaking their language.
That makes sense. And I bet it's the same with the cover design and other parts of the book's presentation, too.
You got it. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you, our listeners.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen a book or a product where it just felt like they didn't understand your culture at all?
Oh, yeah.
Like the marketing was off or the design just didn't make sense?
I have.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that could really help authors.
Yeah, because it is kind of tricky when you're dealing with all these different cultures.
It is.
So let's talk about pricing.
Okay.
It's not just about converting currencies, is it?
No, it's not. You're right.
There's more to it.
There is.
What else do we have to think about?
Well, you have to think about different income levels in different countries.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The exchange rates change all the time.
Right.
And Amazon's royalty structure is different in different regions.
So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, there is.
Like you need a degree in economics or something to figure this all out.
It can feel that way.
Yeah. What are some practical things that authors can do to make sure that they're pricing their books in a way that's competitive but also fair to themselves?
You have to think like a market researcher.
Okay.
Spend some time on Amazon's website and look at the different marketplaces.
Okay.
Look at the pricing trends for your genre.
Right.
And see what other authors are doing, especially those who are already selling successfully to your target audience.
So kind of do a little bit of competitive analysis.
Yeah, you got it.
But on a global scale.
Exactly. And remember, we were talking about tailoring your presentation to different cultures?
Yeah.
Pricing is a part of that, too.
Oh, that's true.
What might be a good price in one country could be too high or too low in another.
Right, because different cultures think about price differently too.
Yeah, they do.
What might seem reasonable in one place might not be reasonable in another.
And cultural perceptions can have a huge impact on pricing.
Okay.
So, for instance, in some cultures, ebooks are supposed to be much cheaper than print books.
Interesting.
But in other markets, readers are happy to pay more for an ebook because it's convenient.
Oh, wow.
So you have to understand each market
Yeah.
and you have to adjust your pricing accordingly.
I'm wondering, have you ever been surprised by how different cultures think about price?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Have you?
Early in my career, I made a mistake.
What happened?
I thought that if I made my book cheaper, it would sell more copies in some markets.
Right.
But I found out that sometimes a lower price makes people think the quality is lower.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I learned a valuable lesson there about how price perception and cultural values are all connected.
It's fascinating. And I bet some of our listeners have stories about this too, so let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Have you ever been surprised by how different cultures think about price?
We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. And now let's move on and talk about getting your book noticed in this big global marketplace. Sure. You know, you've got your book localized.
Right.
It's priced appropriately.
Uh-huh.
But how do you actually make sure that readers can find it?
Well, that's where marketing comes in.
Okay.
And Amazon has some really great promotional tools that can help.
Okay.
Two of the best ones for international markets are KDP Select and Kindle Countdown deals.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Have you?
Can you explain how they work?
Yeah, so KDP Select lets you offer your ebooks only on Amazon,
Okay.
but you get access to special promotions like free book promotions,
Oh, wow.
and you can enroll in Kindle Unlimited.
And that's really good for international markets, isn't it?
Yes, especially in markets where Kindle Unlimited is really popular.
Yeah.
Because readers can borrow your book for free,
Right.
which can be really helpful in markets where readers are more price sensitive
Oh, okay.
or where they prefer to borrow books rather than buy them.
That's really interesting.
What about Kindle Countdown deals? You know how those work?
Remind me.
Well, you can offer your book at a discount,
Okay.
but only for a limited amount of time.
Okay.
Amazon puts a countdown timer on your book's page.
Oh, right.
So readers feel like they need to act quickly.
Right.
And the best part is you can schedule these countdown deals
Okay.
to happen at the same time as holidays or cultural events in your target markets.
Oh, that's smart. So you could like do a countdown deal during Diwali in India
Exactly.
or during Chinese New Year in Southeast Asia.
You got it's about being relevant to the local culture. So it's like a double win. You're
Yeah.
being culturally relevant and you're running this promotion.
And it can also help your book move up in those bestseller lists,
Oh, that's great.
which helps even more readers find your book.
So now let's talk about reviews because social proof is so important.
Yes, it is. Especially in those markets where readers might not be familiar with you.
It's like gold.
Yeah.
Reviews can really help you build trust,
Yeah,
especially if those reviews are from people who speak the reader's language
you're right.
and share their cultural background.
So how do you get those international reviews?
That's a good question. You can't just send out a mass email and ask for favors.
No, you can't.
You have to build relationships
Okay.
and let the reviews happen naturally.
So how do you build those relationships with international readers?
A good way to do it is to be active in online book communities
Okay.
and social media groups that are for readers in your target market.
Okay.
Participate in the discussions,
Yeah.
answer questions, share your insights,
Uh-huh.
and just be helpful without trying to sell your book all the time.
So just be a part of the community,
Yeah,
not an outsider.
exactly.
And what about your Amazon author page?
Well, that's your virtual storefront.
Right.
It's the first impression a lot of readers will have of you.
So it's got to be good.
It does, and localization is important there too.
Oh, I bet. So it's not enough to just translate your bio into a few languages, is it?
No, you're right.
What else do you have to think about?
Well, think about the language you use in your bio.
Okay.
Is it culturally appropriate?
Yeah.
Does it resonate with your target audience?
Right.
You might even want to have different versions of your bio for different regions.
Oh, wow.
You know, highlight different parts of your background or your writing style.
Oh, okay.
That would be relevant to readers in different countries.
Like tailoring your resume to different jobs?
Yeah, you got it.
What about photos and links to social media?
You have to be careful with that too.
Really?
Different cultures have different expectations.
Okay.
For example, the kind of photo that's okay to use on your author page might be different in different cultures.
Interesting.
And for social media, you need to know which platforms are popular in each market.
Right. because that changes too.
Yes, it does.
So it's all about being aware of these little differences.
Exactly.
It's like you're learning a new language.
It is.
But it's the language of cultural sensitivity.
That's a good way to put it.
This has been really interesting.
It has.
But before we get too excited about all this global stuff,
Right.
I want to bring us back down to earth for a minute and talk about
Okay.
data analysis.
All right.
It's great to have all these strategies,
Yeah.
but how do we know if they're actually working?
That's one of the most important things. You can't just do things and hope for the best.
Right.
You have to look at the data,
Okay.
and then you have to adjust your approach based on what the data is telling you.
So we're like detectives,
Yeah.
looking for clues in the data.
Exactly.
But Amazon gives us so much data.
It does.
It can be overwhelming.
It can.
Where do we even start?
Well, you have to focus on the metrics that are important to you.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're trying to get more visible in a particular market, you should track your book's sales rank in that region.
Okay.
Or if you want more people to read your book on Kindle Unlimited,
Mm-hmm.
you should look at your KENP.
KEEN.
That's Kindle Edition Normalized Pages Read.
Oh, okay.
And you want to look at that in the markets that you're interested in.
So you have to choose the data that you're going to look at based on your goals.
Yeah, you got it.
But once you've got all that data, what do you do with it?
Well, you have to figure out what it means.
Yeah, how do you know if it's good or bad?
One of the best ways to tell is to look for trends.
Trends.
Yeah. So if your sales rank is going up in a certain market,
Uh-huh.
that's a good sign.
Okay.
But if it's going down, you might need to change your approach.
So you might need to change your price
Yeah,
or your localization or
Yeah.
your marketing.
exactly.
So it's not enough to just do something once.
No,
You have to keep watching the data
that's right.
and making changes.
And that's especially important when you're first starting out
Yeah.
because you're still learning what works and what doesn't.
So you're always experimenting,
Yeah,
trying new things, and then seeing what happens.
exactly. And don't be afraid to try new things.
Right.
Track the results and then make changes as you need to.
And it's not about failing.
Right,
It's about learning.
exactly.
What are some good resources or tools for authors who want to learn more about data analysis?
Well, Amazon KDP has a lot of data
Okay.
in its KDP reports dashboard.
Okay.
You can track everything.
Man.
Your sales, your royalties,
Mm-hmm.
your KEMP, your Kindle Unlimited borrows.
Okay.
And there are also third-party tools like Book Report.
What's book report?
It gives you more detailed information,
Okay.
and you can customize your reports.
Oh, wow.
And of course, there are lots of online communities and forums
Yeah.
where authors can talk to each other and share tips
Right.
about data analysis.
So there's a lot of support out there
Yeah, there is.
for authors who are willing to put in the work.
That's right.
You know, it's easy to get really focused on the business side of all this,
Yeah.
but I want to step back for a minute
Okay.
and think about what it really means to connect with readers from different cultures
Yeah.
and share our stories with the world.
That's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about so much more than sales and marketing.
It is.
It's about building relationships and understanding different perspectives
Right.
and realizing that our stories can resonate with people no matter what language they speak.
Or where they come from.
Exactly.
So let's hear from our listeners now.
Okay.
What are your experiences connecting with readers from other cultures?
Yeah.
What's been easy? What's been hard?
hmm
Tell us about some of the most meaningful connections you've made
We want to know.
through your writing.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Absolutely.
We're all ears,
We are.
and we're always learning from each other.
That's right. So we were talking about pricing for international markets.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as just converting currencies.
Right. Like there's a lot more to think about.
Yeah, there is. Like what people in different countries can afford to spend on a book.
Okay.
And exchange rates, they're always going up and down.
Right.
And Amazon has different royalty rates in different regions.
So you really have to think about it.
You do. It's kind of like you're doing market research,
Yeah.
but you're doing it internationally.
Right.
So what you want to do is spend some time on Amazon,
Okay.
looking at the different marketplaces,
Uh-huh.
and look at the prices for books in your genre.
Okay.
See what other authors are charging, especially those who are already selling a lot of books.
Especially the successful ones. So you can see what's working for them
Exactly.
and kind of get an idea of what readers are willing to pay.
And remember how we were talking about making sure your book fits different cultures?
Yeah.
Well, pricing is part of that too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Because what might be a good price in one country might not be a good price in another country.
Yeah. Exactly. And different cultures have different ideas about what a book should cost.
I can imagine.
Like in some cultures, people expect ebooks to be way cheaper than print books.
Okay.
But in other places, people will pay more for an ebook
Right.
because it's more convenient.
Interesting.
So you really have to understand your target market
Yeah.
and adjust your pricing accordingly.
This is really making me think about those times when I've been traveling.
Uh-huh.
And I've been surprised by how much things cost.
Yeah.
What might seem like a lot of money in one place might not be very much in another place.
It's all relative.
It is, and it's all about perception.
Yeah.
I made a mistake early in my career.
Oh, what happened?
I thought if I made my book cheaper, it would sell more copies in certain markets.
Oh,
But I found out that sometimes people think a lower price means lower quality.
that makes sense.
So I learned a valuable lesson there
Yeah.
about how people's perceptions of price are tied to their cultural values.
I bet some of our listeners have had similar experiences.
I bet so too. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, tell us about a time when you were surprised by how different cultures think about price.
We'd love to hear your stories.
We would.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about marketing.
Okay.
You know, you've got your book localized
Right.
and you've got it priced right,
Uh-huh.
but now you have to get people to actually buy it.
You do, and luckily Amazon has some great tools to help you do that.
Oh, that's good.
Two of the best tools for international markets are KDP Select and Kindle Countdown deals.
I've heard of those.
You have?
Can you remind me how they work?
Sure. KDP Select lets you offer your ebook exclusively on Amazon,
Okay.
and in exchange, you get access to some special promotional tools,
Okay.
like free book promotions
Oh, that's nice.
and Kindle Unlimited enrollment.
Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, that can be really powerful in markets where Kindle Unlimited is popular.
Right, because people can borrow your book for free.
Exactly. And that can be really helpful in
Yeah.
markets where readers are really price sensitive.
Right.
Or where they prefer to borrow books instead of buying them.
What about Kindle Countdown deals?
Well, those let you offer your book at a discount,
Okay.
but only for a limited time.
Oh, right.
And Amazon puts a countdown timer right on your book's page.
So it creates a sense of urgency.
Exactly. People feel like they have to act fast.
That's right.
And you can schedule these countdown deals to coincide with holidays or cultural events in your target market.
Oh, that's even smarter. So you could like run a countdown deal during Diwali in India
Exactly.
or during Chinese New Year in Southeast Asia.
You got it.
So you're tapping into those times when people are already thinking about buying gifts.
And it can also help your book climb those bestseller lists.
Oh, right, because more people are buying it.
Exactly. Which makes it even more visible to other readers.
So it's like a snowball effect.
It can be.
Now let's talk about reviews.
Okay.
They're so important, aren't they?
They are, especially in international markets.
Because people might not know you.
Right.
So they need some kind of social proof.
A good review from
Yeah.
someone who speaks their language and understands their culture
Uh-huh.
can really make a difference.
So how do you get those international reviews?
Well, you can't just ask for them.
Right, you can't just send out an email blast.
No, you have to build relationships with readers
Okay.
and then let the reviews happen organically.
So how do you build those relationships?
A good way to do it is to be active in online book communities
Okay.
and social media groups
Huh.
that are specific to your target market.
All right.
Participate in the discussions, answer questions,
Yeah.
share your insights,
Yeah.
and be helpful without being too promotional.
So just be a part of the community.
Exactly.
And what about your Amazon author page?
Your author page is your virtual storefront.
It's like your online home.
It is, and you want to make a good first impression.
Right.
Localization is important there, too.
I bet it is. It's not enough to just translate your bio.
No, it's not.
What else should you think about?
Well, think about the language you use in your bio.
Okay.
Is it culturally appropriate?
Right.
Does it resonate with your target audience?
You know what I'm thinking? It's like when you're applying for a job
Yeah.
and you tailor your resume to each specific job.
You might even want to have different versions of your bio
Wow.
for different regions.
So you could highlight different parts of your background
Right.
or your writing style,
Exactly.
depending on what would appeal to readers in that particular country.
That's a great idea.
What about photos and links to social media?
You have to be careful with those, too.
Yeah, how so?
Well, different cultures have different expectations about what kind of photos are appropriate.
Oh, okay.
And for social media,
Yeah.
you need to know which platforms are popular in each market.
Right, because that changes all the time.
It does. So you really have to do your research.
It's like you're learning a whole new language,
It is.
but it's the language of cultural sensitivity.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
It's like learning a new language.
it is, but it's the language of cultural sensitivity.
That's a good way to put it.
So we've talked about all these strategies for
Right.
selling books internationally on Amazon.
Yeah,
But how do we know if they're actually working?
that's a great question. You have to look at the data.
Okay.
Amazon gives you a lot of data.
It does. It's almost overwhelming.
It can be,
Yeah.
but you have to focus on the data that's important for your goals.
So if I'm trying to get more visibility in a certain market, what should I be looking at?
You should look at your sales rank in that region.
Okay, and what if I'm more interested in getting more Kindle Unlimited readers?
Then you should look at your KENP.
Yeah, that stands for Kindle Edition Normalized Pages Read.
Okay.
Tells you how many pages of your book have been read on Kindle Unlimited.
So basically, I have to figure out what my goals are
Right.
and then choose the right data to track.
Exactly.
But once I've got all this data, how do I know if it's good or bad?
You have to look for trends.
Trends.
Yeah, like if your sales rank is going up in a certain market,
Uh-huh.
that's a good sign that your strategies are working.
Okay.
But if it's going down, you might need to change your approach.
So like maybe adjust my price or my localization or my marketing.
Exactly.
So it's not about setting things up and then forgetting about it.
No, you have to be flexible.
You have to keep watching the data and making changes.
And that's especially important when you're first starting out.
Yeah, because you're still figuring everything out.
Right, you're learning what works and what doesn't work.
So it's all about experimenting,
Yeah,
trying new things and seeing what happens.
exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
That's how you learn.
What are some good resources for authors who want to learn more about data analysis?
Well, Amazon KDP has a lot of good data
Okay.
in their KDP reports dashboard.
Okay, I've seen that.
You can track all kinds of things there, like your sales and your royalties,
Right.
your KENP and your Kindle Unlimited borrows.
And there are also those third-party tools like Book Report. Yeah, Book Report is great. It gives you even more detailed information,
Okay.
and you can customize your reports.
So there's a lot of support out there for authors who are willing to learn.
There is. You just have to be willing to put in the time.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in all the business stuff,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to remember why we're doing this.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're writing books
Right.
because we want to share our stories with the world.
That's the most important thing.
It's about connecting with readers,
Yeah.
no matter where they live.
Or what language they speak.
It's about building bridges between cultures.
And understanding different perspectives.
So let's hear from our listeners now.
Okay.
What are your experiences connecting with readers from other cultures?
Yeah.
What's been easy? What's been hard?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some of the most meaningful connections you've made
We want to know.
through your writing.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're all ears, and we're always learning from each other.
That's right.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into selling books internationally on Amazon.
We have.
We hope you found it helpful,
Yeah.
and we hope you'll join us again next time
For another deep dive.
into a fascinating topic.
See you then.
Bye, everyone.